You mentioned something that I think is really interesting when you were talking about M&A. It's amazing how security and cybersecurity has kind of expanded throughout the entire corporate network now. You used to be siloed and you were on the security team and cybersecurity and you did cybersecurity, right? And then you had IT team or network team over on the other side. You had M&A, you had physical security. You might have your lawyers. It's amazing to me how many different departments are needing cybersecurity for many different reasons. And I'll tell you, physical security one is one that's coming up quite a bit right now. How do we start blending physical security with my cybersecurity? Are you seeing that at all? Have you seen talks around that or heard anything about that?
Yeah, it's definitely always an ongoing concern. I actually headed up a focus group, if you will, on the really social engineering attack surface, and they were definitely sort of big on the concerns, and even physical security from the standpoint of shadow IT stuff and bring your own device stuff, but definitely there's always concerns because I think when you have a system, it almost doesn't matter what levels of security you have on a host. If you have a system and an actor has physical access, it really is game over, because there's going to be a way to essentially get onto that endpoint for anybody that has physical access to a system or whatever. And so definitely there's also concerns, things like employee safety, right? There's other things that hit the news cycle that where bad things happen, unfortunately, and really keeping people safe, I think, is another sort of concern when it comes to physical safety. I was actually at a conference fairly recently, and they had some really cool technology on, for example, detecting things like concealed weapons on a person, and those sort of things. It's amazing to see where physical security has gone from just sort of really bad cameras and grainy video to some of the things they're able to do now, and just the views they're able to get, those sort of things. It's definitely interesting, and when it comes to physical access, if all somebody has to do is bring in a spray can of air and turn it upside down, and trip the door on the other, the motion sensor for the door on the other side of it to then break into a place. Sometimes it's just that easy. It's definitely definitely a concerning thing, and definitely seeing a lot of bridges now between technology and physical security that haven't seen in the past, because monitoring physical access and doors, and who's getting access to things, and being able to understand what's happening. Not that you want to like over surveil people, but it's definitely something that has to happen. So at some level, right? Because you need to be able to protect people, but you also need to be able to collect and preserve evidence in case of a crime, whether it's cyber crime or somebody with physical access doing something.
Absolutely. So I'll tell you what, we'll just close with, is there anything else you want to, any parting words of wisdom?
I tell people all the time, if you want to get good at information security, probably one of the best things you can do is learn to think like an attacker. And it gets back to what I talked about with the whole idea behind purple teaming. It's understanding what the risks are, and then can those where can you identify risk, and then what are the chances or the likelihood it's going to be exploited. And I think you mentioned it earlier, it's really about prioritizing what you can do. There's always going to seem to be an endless punch list of things to do. So really understanding your risk, understanding what your vulnerabilities are, really, I think, once you have that risk profile in mind, you can actually start to have the most impact. And, that's really, in a nutshell, kind of behind things like OWASP top 10. And I mentioned APIs earlier. They have an OWASP top 10 for specific to APIs now, which is, those things are very valuable because they help people, again, prioritize where their efforts should begin. Not that they should ever end with those things, but
Right.
certainly give them that starting point.
I love it. I think that's great. Awesome advice. Well, Matt, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us today. We really appreciate it. We appreciate you as a customer. We appreciate you in the security industry, enabling us, making us smarter, making us better, and we enjoy you entertaining us. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been fun.